Hi friends, now today I am going to explain a video on Hibernate. This Hibernate is nothing but a framework which is used at the backend. Previously, we used to use JDBC API. So using this API, we need to include jar files, and the second thing is that we have to open connection object and close it, and again connect to the specific database, whether Oracle, MySQL, Sybase, etc. Perform validation check and headache width or overhead width exceptions. Overhead with the exceptions in the sense like whatever the statements that we write, such as opening the connection, closing it, and providing the username and password, and using the driver and all those things. These statements are the statements which are prone to these exceptions. That means we have to place this try block, we have to use this try class block whenever we write these statements. Suppose if we define a class and if that class doesn't exist, so that will be a headache for us, and we will be getting some kind of exceptions called class not found exception. Or suppose if we open a connection and we don't find any regarding connection class or connection object, and if it doesn't get opened, then we have to print a message to the user that this connection has not opened. So these were the things, these were the problems that we are facing before Hibernate, So after this thing, we have got Hibernate. See, basically this Hibernate is developed in order to avoid all those problems that we are facing above. So the main reason problem that we are facing is here. I import one JDBC jar. This will be specific to only Oracle related JDBC specific jar. Suppose I change my database to Oracle to Sybase. Okay, if we change the database from Oracle to Sybase, my JDBC jar doesn't work. It will not work provided my queries won't work for Sybase or MSQL, whatever it might be. All the statements I need to write once more, and all those things. So here the main problem is we have a jar which is specific to database. Suppose if you develop a kind of application where it is independent of this database, that means I develop whatever the code that I write, it should work for Sybase, Oracle, IBM, whatever it might be. It should work without making any modifications, or with least minimum modifications. So for that, Hibernate solves the problem. And Hibernate by default we won't be using try catch here. We can use, but it's a rare to use. It has a fault. It produces database independent queries. Previously I used to use Oracle database. Oracle queries will work for Oracle database. So this, whatever the query that I write, should work for Oracle, Sybase, or whatever it might be. So it produces database independent queries. So for that there is separate one language is there, HQL, Hibernate Query Language. Fifth thing is that this Hibernate query language is used for simpler operations like so what if you want to use some advanced kind of operations? There is a solution, Hibernate criteria language. It provides certain tool we can write joins, etc. Basically it's an advanced language. Fast performance. So in JDBC, whenever we develop some kind of web application and we run that particular web application, it takes time to load servlets. It takes time. Suppose there are 1,000 servlets are there, so it takes a huge amount of time to run these servlets and all those things. So in order to avoid all those kind of things, like even this problem occurs with accessing data, fetching the data, retrieving back, it all takes a cumbersome process. So these were the basic important interfaces. Rest there are two more which are also used, but these were the basic things. So in this way